Hello. For this PowerPoint, I will be talking about some elements of art and design terminology. We will also be looking at some photographs and thinking about what terms apply to the photographs we are analyzing and looking at. Some of you may know a lot of these vocabulary terms or even words I didn't include in this list due to being in other art courses. Learning basic terminology helps us not only look at art but understand symbols and other intended meanings behind artworks. Becoming comfortable with this vocabulary is necessary to discuss our own artwork as well as give our audience insight to our concepts and design choices. So, throughout the semester, I want you to use these words as much as you can, right? In your artist statement, in your concepts, and in the discussion posts that you'll be doing in this course. So to start off, I've used this list from the book List of Terms from Design Language by Tim McCreight. This is just a small list of art vocabulary, but I like it because it has some words that are out of the norm when it comes to design language, such as confidence. We don't normally think of this as a term for art or design, but there are reasons for both that we would use this word. Another one might be intuition. How can a photo convey this meaning with just one image? This list is just a little more advanced than just thinking about elements such as shape or line, and I think it helps us start um, thinking about concepts that artists are trying to convey past the elements that are obvious to us. This list helps us think about what the audience or we are supposed to feel or take away from art or photography or video. Um, so, if there are words in this list you're not really sure about, I would suggest using a dictionary or Googling the word and maybe writing down the definition in your notebook. Also, maybe making some sketches about what some of these words could look like visually. So we're gonna start looking at some photographs, and I will share with you um, how I would maybe use some of the vocabulary to analyze this photo. Another thing to remember is that when looking at these photographs, you might have a totally different set of terms that you think of other than like what I would use. And that's a great thing because we're different people with different experiences, but being able to explain your case and why the photograph makes these terms stand out to you is important. So, for this first photo titled Utah by Andreas Gursky, taken in 2017, there are some obvious elements I can think of, like motion, because the photograph shows motion, and we can tell this by the blur of the houses. But some other elements of art and design I think of are time and integration. Time because of the motion. Um, we will get into this in our next module, but the shutter was left open for a long time to take this photograph to cause the intentional blur. I also think of time when I see houses built in landscapes like this, showing the change of the land over the years. And due to this, I think the design term from design language integration, so integrating these built houses into the landscape. The next photo we're looking at is titled The Ocean Dome. When first looking at this photo, I don't think I realized that it was taken indoors, but looking closer at the details, I realized the ceiling has light fixtures and the horizon feels much closer. The term from the list that stands out to me with this photograph is entropy due to the crowd's lack of order. Another is space. They have taken the ocean landscape scene that almost fooled me and put it in one singular room, which leads me to my last term, surreal. The way the photograph was taken made the strange almost believable, leaving little hints of the truth of the photograph. And then this next photo is Untitled by Francesca Woodman. This photo makes me think about the term fragment due to the subject being almost out of the frame. I think about why she chose to fragment the figure and what emotions lead us to think, or what our emotions that leads us to think when we can't read like a facial expression. Um, we have to depend strictly on the body language. And I think this photograph has attention because of that, which is another term from the list. And it's created because of the lack of facial expression. There's also a tension between the figure and the print of the figure on the ground. It makes me question if the print was made from the figure or if it was someone else that isn't in the photograph. I think an obvious term for this photograph is line. The lines on the floor and the wall are leading to the figure in the chair. And I think this is intentional to get the viewer to look at what the photographer intended. If the photograph was taken from 40 degrees to the right, it might have been, an entirely different feel. So these are just a few ways that I analyze photographs and think about terms that lead me to question what the photographer is conveying. So for your quiz on this module, you'll be using this same list, the Elements of Principles of Art and Design from Tim McCreight, to analyze photographs just as I did in this PowerPoint.